It's very nice to have you here today, Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and here at the Miami Book Fair, why don't you, you're presenting your book, The Fall of Innocence.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we get to the questions?
Okay, The Fall of Innocence is about a girl named Emilia, and she is 16 years old. She's in high school. She's, kind of has this normal teenage life, but she's still dealing with the trauma of something that happened to her 8 years earlier. She was assaulted on her school playground when she was 8 years old, and she had, difficulty getting through it when she was that age. It really traumatized her. And then 8 years later, there are still these rippling effects that she's dealing with, and her whole family.
Okay, going into the first question, have you incorporated something's happened to you in your personal life, either to you or to a family member, to a friend, into this book?
I have, actually. I tell everybody that I started writing this book, or this book began, back in 1980 something when I was in third grade, because I begged my mother to please let me sign up for Girl Scouts because I thought that the little uniforms were really cute, and she finally let me sign up, and I was going to the meetings. I think it was every Wednesday after school, and then one day it was canceled, and I didn't know what to do because I had been kind of pestering my mom and calling her on the phone a lot back in the day. And she told me, only call when it's an emergency. So when the meeting was canceled, I didn't know if it was an emergency or not. And so I decided, this isn't really an emergency. I'm just going to stay at the playground and I'm going to play until it's time to leave. And so that's what I did, which would have been fine if my mom hadn't found out that the meeting was canceled, and she completely freaked out and she got so worried. And I was fine. Nothing happened to me. But I scared my mother to death. And when she finally found me, I just saw her kind of like deflate with like relief. And I never really understood at that age why she was so worried. I was fine. I was just playing. And then later, as I got older, I realized all the things that must have gone through her head, and all the things that she worried were happening to me in that hour that I was missing. And so then, I started thinking about a story like that where something did happen, and what would be the effects of that, and how would that affect the person involved, as well as her family. And so that's where The Fall of Innocence came from.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I actually had something similar happen. I was in fourth grade though, but it was just an after school study program.
Yeah.
And then they just canceled that one meeting, and we just stayed playing in the playground, but there was really no adult around there because the teacher couldn't get to us on time.
Right.
And then when my mom, when she got to the school, she was also like, why didn't you tell me this? I could have picked you up and everything. So yeah, it's easy to like, at first you're not sure, but like, why? Yeah. Why are you reacting like this? But the older you get, the more you see things happening, then you start understanding, like, oh, okay.
Bad things happen in the world.
I see where she's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, this kind of like, that's what it was born of, is that as you get older, you realize that the world is cold, and the world can be dangerous in a way that, as a little kid, you don't really understand. And so I just really wanted to explore that.
It's very interesting. And then going on to our next question, given the opportunity, would you change anything in the book?
There was a part that I can't reveal that was very different when I wrote this through the first time. But then, I ended up changing it. My editor and I talked, and I ended up changing it because it didn't feel true. It felt too manipulated, and it didn't feel like it was being authentic to the story, that I set out to write. And so it's been through a pretty big change, and I think that I'm pretty happy with it the way that it is. I feel like it's the truest kind of fiction that I can put out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good. We can't wait to read it then.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the fair and your stay here in Miami.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.